Shane, kind of take us into what you thought about when you saw this story developing last Friday.
Well, I was on my way en route to Philadelphia. I didn't hear till Saturday morning, and when my manager called and told me, he said, "Hey, did you hear about Rockin Rebel?" I thought he was going to say like he was in a wreck or something, but when he told me the story, I was like, what? I mean, it's so insane. Like you said, it's such a crazy story. You know, and not to just throw a cliche out there, but this just proves every time, with all the insane stories we've heard about in professional wrestling, there's always something crazier coming down the road somewhere. I knew Chuck, obviously. I've known him for 2 decades or longer. He and I always got along fairly well, although Chuck seemed, he was, anybody that knows him knows what I'm talking about. He wasn't the kind of guy that just really let his hair down with you. Like he would talk about, like if you were talking about subject A, he would say a few things about subject A and then he was on his way. But always seemed to me to be like an overly intense guy, scream about a parking spot or whatever, that type of thing. I don't, I didn't read any of the Facebook posts that you're saying, and I didn't know his wife. My condolences, obviously, to the family and to the children. That's the biggest heartbreak of this thing to me is that the kids were in the house, allegedly, from what I'm reading online, that the kids were in the house at the time that this happened. Can you imagine you hear a couple shots and you get on and you find and you see your mother and your father both laying there. I mean, I can't think of anything more horrible for a child. And, no kid should have to witness something like that, let alone the loss of their mother and at the hands of their father, again, allegedly based off, what I'm reading, but just an absolute shocker of a story. I don't understand and never will, hopefully understand that, if you're in a relationship and you hate him or she hates you, then leave. Just leave. The grass is greener out there anyway. There's plenty of women out there if you're looking for a woman. There's plenty of men if you're looking for a man. Why I don't understand why people would keep themselves in an abusive relationship, in a relationship where they were afraid. I can't imagine living my life every day being afraid, walking on eggshells. It would just seem to get, paralyzing after a while. But this is the kind of thing you can't qualify. How do you, to obviously be an understatement to say I never saw that coming. I mean, like I said, Chuck always seemed like a pretty intense guy, but he never seemed to be a violent guy like that. Something that would pull something like that. Just nauseates you. When you think about it, that there's a woman dead who lived in fear and now, understandably so, and then the kids having, aside from what they witnessed at the house, if there was, I read something again from one of the neighbors that said that there was always a lot of, vulgar yelling and stuff going on and language used between the two. Well, imagine the kids seeing this on a day-to-day basis, seeing this, the yelling and screaming. That's not healthy for a child, and then this on top of it. I mean, it's just a really, really tragic situation. I mean, that goes without saying. And again, my condolences go out to the families, to his wife, especially, and the kids. Whoever is, listening, if anybody's listening out there from the family, please make sure those kids see some professionals to get that dealt with, because that's obviously something that's going to leave a deep scar on the kids. And I always think of the kids, and anybody could do something like that. I mean, it'd be easy enough to, if you're, again, don't know the circumstances or anything, but if you're planning on killing somebody, at least send the kids to the neighbor's house for the night. So, I mean, for God's sakes, do something. But just, the whole thing just is so nauseating and sickening. But, it's one of those things that happens, and it just, I guess, puts everything into perspective for you a little bit better. We all complain, I got to get up early tomorrow for an appointment, or I got to, go get the oil changed in the car. when you take a step back in the overall things that we complain about on a day-to-day basis, and then you see something like this, it instantly snaps that back into a little clearer picture for you. But again, my condolences to the family, his wife's family, and his family as well. They must be in shock, of something like this happening, and certainly for the kids, just an absolute horrific episode. So sad.